Greetings and welcome to the 26th episode of Morrowind Modding Showcases. As always, I'm your host Dark Elf Guy, and this week we have a very special episode for you. This episode more or less marks our 6-month anniversary on this channel, and since we started we've covered over 300 mods for Morrowind by some 180 mod authors, and to celebrate that fact we have a very special episode for you today. It's a bit of a Telvanni themed episode, but let me just tell you a bit about it. We've got mods that allow you to summon armies of creatures to command. We have mods that allow you to grow entire towns wherever you want. And we've got mods that allow you to animate suits of armor to fight alongside you. And we have much more, of course. We have more quests, more dungeons, we have all that. But anyway, very exciting, so why don't we go ahead and get started with our popular mod of the week. Which this week is Tel Celestis by MC. This mod adds a tiny island near Sadrith Mora with a curious Telvanni tower on it. Inside you'll find a magician's apprentice who'll give you a quest in order to meet his master. This includes fighting through a fairly lengthy dungeon. As you can see here. And facing potentially dozens of opponents. You'll eventually meet this Telvanni master, trapped in his own tower. And this will start you on a lengthy quest line to gather a number of artifacts from around Vvardenfell. Your reward for doing this is a series of companions. Like this skeleton mage here. Which comes equipped with all these standard companion features, like companion share, follow commands, and patrol options. Later on, you can choose to get a Clanfear companion as well. And it operates much the same way. Eventually, you'll obtain a book on binding summoned creatures. And this will allow you to summon nearly any creature on Vvardenfell as a companion. Assuming you have a soul gem and ingredient from them, of course. And they'll act like normal companions. You can do this as many times as you like, creating your own Forger army if you so desire. Bit of a funny looking lot, aren't they? With such an army, you can finally strike a blow against the Empire. Foolish Imperials, you laughed at my Forger threats, but now who's laughing now? In the end, the Forger always wins, even if it is at great cost. For our house mod of the week this week, we have Waterview House by Shuzri. This mod adds a lovely cottage and garden to Wolverine Hall, as you can see here, including a couple of balconies out back with a view of the fort. Inside is a lovely living space, including a warmly lit kitchen, dining area, and a small bar. There's also a bedroom, naturally, and all of the comforts of home with a bath and closet space. And of course there's display space to show off loot in as well. And there's even teleport doors to various major cities around Vardenfell. And a small alchemy lab, which includes plenty of storage space. This week's gameplay mod of the week is Grow Your Own Telvanni Towers by Chaos Narib. This mod adds a quest in Saran, which starts out with assassinating a common thug, as you can see here. And this will eventually lead you to a small dungeon, with a fair number of opponents to face, where you'll find this book, amongst other oddities. This book will give you spells to grow your own Telvanni towers and house pods, pretty much wherever you desire. As you can see with this tower I've grown here. With these new spells, you can pretty much take any space out in the wilderness and start growing your own town. There's really no limit to what you can do with these spells at all. And you can start growing all sorts of things. As you can see here with this walkway. Though obviously it might take a little bit of practice to figure everything out. Especially of how to position objects so they grow in a organized manner. You can even grow staircases. And bridges, in addition to buildings. Each house pod you grow comes with a bare base interior, including manners, as you can see here. You'll need a furniture mod like the one we featured in episode 2 of Morrowind Modding Showcases to properly furnish these. Ultimately, you can use this power to create entire towns wherever you please, and fill the landscape with Telvanni structures. Next up is our town mod of the week, and this week we have the village of Morrowind by Coaster51. This mod adds a town not too far away from Uva's grave, with a number of new houses, shops, and guard towers. As you can see here. Including some very interesting looking structures. Like this peculiar guard tower. And of course there's also a port. There's transportation services to other nearby towns, making it easier to get to Uva's grave. And there's naturally a ton of new interiors to go along with all these new buildings, including this shipping warehouse. And you also find streets lined with shop vendors. As you can see here. There's also a ton of new handy shops, like a weaponsmith, and a healer with a variety of useful brews, as seen here. And of course, no town would be complete without a new tavern as well. For our items mod of the week this week, we have Telbranora Alchemist by RWH. This mod adds a simple alchemy shop to the docks of Telbranora. Inside is a shop featuring a number of new alchemical goods for sale, as you can see here. As well as a small quest for you to pursue, if you so desire. Here you can see a number of the new alchemical concoctions that are for sale. From herbal teas to various brandies, and other curious mixtures. All with their own unique textures. As you can see here. This week's quest mod of the week is Tales of Telbranora by AP Hilliard. This mod adds around half a dozen new quests to the sleepy Telvanni hamlet of Telbranora. Each of these quests is given by a new NPC in town. And they typically feature a fair amount of exposition for you to read through, as you can see here. A number of these quests will take you to pre-existing dungeons, where you'll have to fight or find a particular objective. And the rewards for these quests often include small charms or amulets that can be pretty useful throughout the game. Next up is our Landmass Mod of the week, and this week we have The Goblin Lab by Timpy. This mod starts out with a new main quest, given by a fellow in Telmora. And this will naturally lead you to a series of new landmasses, including new cities like this one here, where you'll start your grand adventure. And these cities are fairly large as well, with lots to see and explore. As you can see here. You'll start out with a few quests relating to this fellow here, a military dictator who runs the city-state of Urigen. Once you appease him, you're free to roam the city, including weapon shops like this one, with new goods for sale. And a Fletcher shop with some cool fire effect bows. There's also a ton of miscellaneous quests to check out as well. And even a museum which includes a ton of new lore, where you can find out a lot more about this new landmass. From the cities, you'll find regions of swamps and interconnected isles that contain much to see and explore. As you can see here. And you'll find valleys filled with Duma ruins. Such as this one here. And naturally, these include new dungeons to check out as well. This new landmass is very diverse, and you'll find desert canyons alongside swamps and interconnected isles. And you'll also find ancient ruins amongst the sands. Including more dungeons and opponents to face. Though some of these dungeons are a bit maze-like. You'll also find massive strongholds to explore. Such as this Imperial stronghold here. Which is truly a massive and scenic complex to check out. There's quite a bit to see here. You can see the new Goblin Lab landmass here, and it will conflict with Temporary builds. That said, all of this and much more awaits you in the Goblin Lab. Including massive dungeons like this one. For our NPC Mod of the Week this week, we have Living Armors by Archimaestra Antares. This mod starts out with a simple quest to retrieve a Daedric Helm, posted in Balmora. This will lead you to the mysterious Blackmoor Castle, as you can see here. Where you'll meet this fellow, who may or may not attack you when you complete the quest. Either way, you'll find a new book, and it'll tell you how to animate suits of armor. Using this book, assuming you have all the required armor pieces, you can summon a suit of living armor, as seen here. Though you do have to be careful about where you summon them. You can also desummon a suit of armor to get your armor back, as you can see here. And then you can summon them again. And give them basic commands like patrol or follow. And of course, you can keep animating more suits of armor like this as well. As long as you have suits of armor, you can keep summoning more and more living armor companions. And this includes support for steel armor, as well as iron armor. And there's really no limit to how many you can summon, as seen here. And with your newly created companions, you can recreate large-scale battles against skeleton armies. After all, why not have a bit of fun with them? This week's new Meshes and Textures Mod of the Week is Telvanni Bump Maps by Biont. This mod replaces all the textures in the Telvanni tile set with new ones. And as the name would imply, it also adds bump maps. You can see a number of the new textures here. There's even a slight glow added to some of the textures, as kinda seen here. And this mod covers pretty much all Telvanni buildings and structures, at least in terms of exteriors. Including the slave market in Sadrith Mora. And the Telvanni Council building. It also covers some interior Telvanni textures as well. Next up is our Modder's Resource Mod of the Week, and this week we have Dark Telvanni Tile Set by Kiev. This Modder's Resource comes with a complete alternative tile set to the normal vanilla Telvanni pieces. This is a dark, more sinister version of the Telvanni architecture, with a almost Daedric influence to it. And it covers all 190 pieces of the Telvanni tile set. As you can partially see from this village I built out of the new Modder's Resources. This includes crystals, trees, mushroom plants, house pods, roots, and much more. And it all looks very cool if I do say so myself. I can imagine using this modest resource to create a rogue faction of the Telvanni, who are perhaps obsessed with necromancy, or the dark arts of Daedric worship. Really, there's all sorts of things you can use a tile set like this for, if you put the mind to it. There's naturally also new interior tile pieces to go with the exteriors. As you can see from these bare-bone interiors that I built. And they certainly have a bit of a dark atmospheric quality to them as well. For our underrated mod of the week this week, we have Subterranean Tel Uvrith by Morpheria. This mod adds a massive underground lair beneath Tel Uvrith for you to explore. Including a truly massive cavern that dwarfs most on Vardenfell. And it has quite the long way down. Of course, there is some choice seating for taking in the view, and there is quite a nice view to take in as well. There's even a few service NPCs down here, including a necromancer. And an enchanter that has a number of items for sale, and can also transport you to various locations. There's also an armorer that has a fair amount of gold to spend. The cavern has a path that slopes downward, though you will have to watch your step. At the bottom is a truly magical place, filled with Daedric and Dwemer ruins. An important thing to note is that this mod is 100% compatible with most Tel Uvrith mods, including Uvrith's Legacy. And there is quite a lot to explore here, and it is all beautifully detailed. And there's even a dungeon down here. Which you can explore, provided you can survive a few undead opponents. This week's Blast from the Past mod of the week is Therigus by Narkybark. With this mod you'll find a crazy hermit near Sadrith Mora, surrounded by Atronox. And he'll offer to make you his apprentice and teach you elemental-based spells. At first you'll have to do simple errands for him. Including tracking down people all over Vardenfell. Eventually you'll get a few new spells related to a particular element, and you'll get to use these in quest dungeons. You'll even get an astronaut companion as a part of this quest. Finally, for our bonus mod of the week this week, we have Ryasel by FW. This mod adds a small Telvanni abode to the Ascadian Isles region. Inside is a cozy one-room home, including a bed, forge, and basic alchemy lab. The house is lavishly detailed, and fit for any Telvanni mage. That's it for this week. As always, you can find the download links down in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, do please leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you all next week for another 13 mods for your viewing pleasure.